So if you have just heard that recording in progress, then of course, just feel free to hit the OK button. And I will start by saying a huge welcome to our From Self-Loathing to Self-Loving Masterclass with myself. And I know that we've definitely got some new people in with us this evening and no doubt going to be watching it back on replay. So a huge hello to anyone who we're meeting for the first time. This is wonderful. And of course, if this is your 50th masterclass with myself, a huge hello. And so my name is Carol Ann, and I'm actually going to almost start by saying that this is a masterclass that I only ever dreamed of doing. And it was almost one of those where I know it's like that nail in the coffin when I finally am in a place myself. I'm going to be sharing some real truths as well tonight, as well as from like a personal point of view, as well as from a professional point of view. So my background is in NLP, life coaching, transformational coaching, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and inner child regression. So very much around mindset. And I'm going to say it, we all have our own demons. We all have that thing where everything can look a certain way on the outside, but still, even those that do it for a living can still have their hang-ups or problems that they are overcoming. And actually, this topic was mine. And this is why I've waited. This is why it's been something that I would dream of doing only when. And now I'm in a position where I can wholeheartedly talk share my truths with you and really help to guide you on your own journey. So hi, everyone, as you are joining us, drop a big hello. And so I'm going to be sharing ways in which you can begin to really honor your body in a different way, releasing that diet mentality. I am going to be talking about sort of towards the end a program as well, the Simplicity program that I know some of you have already jumped in. So I will be sharing a little bit about that as well. So how to release years of guilt, shame, and poor health habits to finally, it does feel like that, live a life feeling fulfilled, free, and yourself. So let's go. Please use the chat as well. If something resonates, if you've got any questions, absolutely jump in. Okay, so I thought, let's just get straight into the juicy stuff. Now, you can see, I'm going to invite you as well. I might not read it word for word, but feel free to cast your eyes over these. I'm going to sort of guide you through what I believe are 8 secrets that the diet industry just does not want you to know. Some of these you'll be like, yeah, totally agree. Some of you will be like, do you know what? Never thought of it like that, or I never knew it. But let's go straight into number 1. Your brain is not made to diet or deficit. When we use the words such as diet or deficit, it actually triggers something within your brain to do the complete opposite. So I'm coming from a primal place here. Your brain is hundreds of thousands of millions years old. I'm going back to like caveman days, all the way back to those, maybe not millions, and your brain's job was survival, nurturing, especially if it's women. I can see we've got a lot of women in here tonight. Nurturing and caring for others, mating, reproduction, and of course, sourcing food, eating food, caring for others. So it's our primal instinct to eat and have food available to us. And when we don't have food available to us, it actually triggers a red flag within our brains that says, okay, it's time to go hunt. It's time. Do you ever have that? I know I certainly do. When it is that thing when you're like, okay, this is it. Monday is here. I'm not going to eat any more crisps. I'm not going to do this. This is it. I'm only going to have salad instead of potatoes. And the mind wants you to go hunting into the cupboards. That hunting mentality is exactly what your brain is there to do. It wants you to survive. It doesn't know that by Thursday you might drop off the bandwagon and really you've got a cupboard full of food and a fridge full of food, because we live in a very, very blessed age, don't we? So that word, that mentality actually triggers a conflict within the mind and within the body. So this isn't just you. I'm going to be talking a lot tonight as well about self-belief, because from my own journey and working with a lot of private clients on this, also within the academy where we've touched on it, people really struggle with self-belief if you've yo-yo dieted half your life, if you've tried all the health clubs and shakes and pills and creams and all of that lot, and you still can't maintain the results. Your self-belief begins to dwindle. It starts thinking, well, what's the point? But I want you to know that this is your brain's survival instinct. It does not like the word, the word diet has the word die in it. That's not a big enough signal for our brain, but that is how we are wired. So if you've ever seen that thing of I'm going to go on a diet deficit or on calorie deficit or on calorie counting, the brain starts to panic. Your gut produces around 90% of the serotonin in your body. Now, we hear this a lot on like Headspace apps and mind apps, that we want to be releasing as much serotonin as we can in the brain. We hear the brain connection with serotonin a lot, but the gut, your gut produces 90%. And that is that feel-good chemical. So again, I'm kind of myth busting. You're not on your own. If after a long day, you have your favorite dinner, or you go into the cupboard and have your favorite snack, or you pour yourself your favorite glass of wine, or your body after a long day, especially, this is the most common thing. I'm talking from a common thing that I've seen. Most people, when they get home, no matter how hard they try, they just kind of go, oh, and they fall off the bandwagon. Part of it is we're tired. Sleep is a huge thing when it comes to the body's rest. But when that food bypasses your gut, 90% of that serotonin that's within your body gets released and produced from there. So each time it's like a firework cascading through your body that makes you feel good. So it isn't just that Maltesers taste flipping fantastic. It's actually your body's chemical response that goes, so we want to recognize that. And this is why it is, and this is where mindset comes in. This is about other ways to release serotonin and feel good chemicals throughout the day and evening, where we're not in a place of craving that feel good factor at the end of the day. And for some people, it is just throughout the day. Working from home, the average person, I think I read this in a study, I don't know, I can't quote the study, but the average person in the UK, I think, gained nearly a stone during lockdown. Don't quote me on that, but I'll have a little research after. Yeah, microbiome, so important. That helps to regulate the gut. So a whole other topic, but I just sort of wanted to, it's so, so true. And the more that we can feel good in ourselves, we're not just relying on that hit from sugary, sweet, carbohydrate-based food. There are many other ways for us to do this. And actually, we can train our body to get it from good sourced foods and drinks as well. Number 3, we are conditioned to believe the answers are outside of ourselves. I hate to say it, and it is. We are bombarded on a daily basis with adverts. Do this to get rid of cellulite. Who's ever bought a cellulite-based product before in their life? I have rubbed many a creams into my butt. It didn't work. Cellulite, and that is just a part of our bodies, especially as women. It's actually due to our reproductive ways that we actually store more fat in these areas, because should we ever seriously be locked in a cave, or that we have to go a week without food, again, primal brain, our body has stores of fat. So when it comes to these things, yes, there are lots of different ways in which you can have treatments these days, but for real change, we are bombarded with many things, and that's the way that the world is spinning. So it's being aware of that we are conditioned to believe that the answers are outside of ourselves. Your mind can trigger your body to store fat. Now, this is really sort of stepping more into the mindset piece here. Your mind can trigger your body to store fat water, and toxins are the way of protecting you. And what I mean by this is I see this a lot in people, in particular, men and women. In fact, I was going to say women, but men and women who went through either a troubled childhood or a form of abuse, mental, physical, sexual, and through adulthood. But what they learn from a very, very young age is what can I do to keep people away from me? What can I do to not let people notice me? And unconsciously, I'm talking here, this is not necessarily a conscious thing at all. A lot of this is unconscious. We tend to say, okay, well, if I overeat this, if I gain weight, if I make myself what we deem on an individual level to be ugly, I'm protected. People will stay away from me. People won't look at me. I'm out of harm's way. Very, very, very much on an unconscious level. And this has been revealed. During timeline therapy, many a times this comes up for people. And each time it's like, wow, never on a conscious level would we ever believe that. But that is our body's way. And the more that we hold anger, guilt, sadness, fear, and hurt, that the vibration that actually, let me just double check, the vibration of that within the body creates toxins, and we can actually store toxins. You've no doubt, we come on to this actually on the last one, I went to skip ahead. So yes, your mind can trigger your body into this protection mechanism. Healing emotional wounds and trauma helps to shed excess storage. Again, many people that I've worked with definitely did not come to me and say, okay, part of my goal is I want to lose a stone, or I want to fit back into these old jeans, or I want to lose X amount of inches. But as a result of healing emotional trauma, emotional wounds, things from the past that they never would have connected the dots together. Consciously, we just wouldn't connect those dots. Over the coming weeks, months, that begins to release. I still have people messaging me now from months, if not years ago, that I've worked with, and they're like, I'm like a stone and a half lighter. I haven't consciously tried to do it, but I just feel happier. And when we're happy, what do? It's that thing, when the sun's out, everyone wants to eat al fresco. And we tend to eat more of a colored rainbow when we feel good, when the sun's out. It isn't just the sun. Eating al fresco is always lovely, but when we are friends with ourselves, when we like ourselves, just like we do with children, tell me I'm not the only one that's like, how do I get more fruit and veg into these guys? Because I love them and I want them to be healthy. We have that ability with ourselves. When we are friends and we love ourselves, we actually want that health. So those choices are way easier to make. Your level of fulfillment can impact your health and your weight. And your level of fulfillment, what I'm talking about here, is in all areas of your life. You may have experienced this before, where you have been through a breakup. So let's say your relationship part of your life took a bit of a nosedive, and most people tend to go one way. They're like, I can't eat. And it's that the body just completely shuts off. For a lot of people, we kind of go down the Bridget Jones route of the ice cream, the Celine Dion songs. But it's that wanting to make ourselves feel better. Kind of goes back around to the conditioning, goes back around to the serotonin. But the level of fulfillment that we have, I want you to really break that word down. I've probably spelt that wrong, actually. Now I've actually just looked. And fulfillment. When we don't feel fulfilled in life, we crave that feeling. We crave that feeling of being full. The mind, body, gut connection is so strong here, and our subconscious mind is riding it all. We are so on autopilot throughout the day. Our minds wouldn't consider that. We just think that that's what we want, so that's what I need. But your fulfillment, this could be career, this could be your relationship, your reflection, how you sense and feel and love yourself, have a direct impact on that. Number 7, your body has a healthy set point that it will happily regulate at. Now, for some, this can be hard to believe. You may, like myself for many years, be a yo-yo dieter. I would fluctuate between a good 1.5 stone. I was and let me know if I'm not on my own here, if you're an all or nothing kind of person, you're either all in, eating salad and weighing your oats in the morning and drinking your lemon water and exercising 5 times a week, or you're the complete opposite. And it's like, sod it, doesn't matter what day of the week it is, I'm not feeling good. And the perpetual cycle is one or the other. But your body does have a healthy set point. And when we do that inner healing work, when we really begin to nourish and heal and love and admire our bodies for what they are and ourselves, you for who you are, your body will naturally begin to regulate. It doesn't fluctuate up and down because you're not that all or nothing anymore. And lastly, you can recover and heal from many illnesses and diseases. Now, of course, that word is diseases. And if you work with me before, if you're in the academy, if you've been on any of my lives or programs, you will know I talk about this a lot. Again, the mind-body connection. A disease is a dis-ease within the body, and these start within the mind. So I almost want to give you a little bit of hope or faith. If you've got a illness, even chronic illnesses, just know that even if you've heard the words, and I know that there will be some people on here and I've worked through with them, if you've heard the words, this is incurable. This is for life. You're going to have to live with this. That is not the case. You've no doubt, we live in a modern age where we have access to all sorts on the internet, Netflix, all sorts. There's a really good program on Netflix I would definitely recommend called Heal. And that actually talks about different ways to heal your body, not just taking pills and all of the stuff which we're kind of conditioned to do. I'm definitely saying continue on with anything that you've ever been recommended, but just know that if you, Nat, facing this now, and it's terrifying, yes, Nat, you message me, this is really going to be powerful for you tonight. I do believe that. So there we are. Those are the 8 things that the diet industry would not want you to know. And of course, if there is anything from that, write it down. If there's anything any questions or thoughts, of course, do share. I might not answer straight away, but I will as we go. So I thought I would share a little bit about myself. Like, for those of you who have joined us for the first time, who am I? I shared before, my background is in hypnotherapy, NLP, all of that juicy mind work. And I work with such a variety of people. I'm one of those where I just can't whittle it down. I've worked with many different coaches and they're like, you have to niche. I can't. With what I do, I work with the mind. Doesn't matter whether you're a top CEO of a company or you, like myself, I was a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't matter. I've worked with recovering addicts. I've worked with huge people at the other side of the world. I worked with someone on a phobia all the way in Africa. For me, the mind is the mind. It doesn't matter your background. We all have the ability to transform. That's my area of expertise. That's what lights me up. So my truth, here we go. I've shared a little bit of this before, but this is like, just going to say it. I have struggled with body dysmorphia since the age of 11. I actually have memories from being around 9, but I would say properly set in what would be diagnosed had I have gone to the doctors. Now I know the diagnosis system myself on a professional point of view. It was body dysmorphia, really quite bad. At parties or gatherings from a very, very young age, all the way through to networking events, through to talking on stages and holding my own workshops, I feared what others thought of me. Not just on that level of what if I get it wrong? Like that, there's an element of fear there. I think that there is, and I've definitely grown through that. And I think it's very natural. Lots of us have that. But it was the fear of what people thought of my body. What are they thinking of my arms? If I was ever sat down, anytime, I don't know if anyone else used to or does this, or I used to, if there was a pillow near me, I'd want the pillow on my belly. I would always have something. I used to have a scarf around my neck because I didn't want anyone to see this. And this was back when I was like 9.5 stone. It never mattered whether I fluctuated between 9 and 12 stone. So when I say the average of 1.5 stone, I was up to that 3 stone mark. And I was obsessed with what I was eating, what I was drinking. And it was the loudest voice in the room at all times. If there was a buffet, there was food, I would dread it, but be so excited by it at the same time. It was such an inner conflict, because I would always think, well, what if someone's looking at what's on my plate? And whilst I had that voice in my head saying, you do not deserve to be here, my body craved fulfillment. My body craved feeling good, serotonin, endorphins. So I would overeat and I would secret eat because it felt exciting. So I was running off this adrenaline behind the scenes, always, and then the fear would then kickstart all of the feelings of adrenaline. And it was this cycle that went round, and it was so loud in my mind on such a regular basis. I obsessed over my weight, the fear of me gaining weight when I was very slim. My background is I was a performer. So I was a dancer and a singer. So you can imagine the pressure that we used to feel. If you didn't fit into the costumes, you didn't have a job. And they were all tiny, tiny costumes. I had big feet, and I used to think, how do I make my feet small? I used to curl my toes because I had like size 6.5, 7 feet. And all the other dancers were really small, really skinny or tall and slim. And they had size 5 or 6 feet. I used to worry about the size of my feet, that they were too big. And now I'm just grateful that they keep me up. And what that caused was this level of anxiety that on a daily basis, the first thing I would do in the morning is I would look at my body in the mirror. Before I said hi to my now husband, my partner I've been with for like 12 years, he's been through all of this with me. We met abroad performing. I would look at my belly. I'd want to see abs. If I didn't see abs, I would freak. And then before I knew it, I was 12 stone. I'd gained 3 stone. And I would be then obsessing on how to starve myself. How do I get rid of this? And it was the thrill then of getting rid of it. And I would exercise and only eat for punishment. I would control portion sizes. And when I was gaining weight, it was a feeling of control. A feeling of lack of control. And then when I was losing weight, I was craving the feeling of control. So I was actually in control of this, but it was all unconscious. I didn't know about this stuff back then. And it was a rinse and repeat. I used to binge. This was up until a few years ago. If I'm totally, totally honest, I used to really struggle with that. I would be so good. Did you ever get told when you were younger, oh, you're a good girl, you've eaten all your dinner? Be a good girl and don't do that. Be a good girl or a good boy and only do this. So we have this belief around what's good and what's bad, what's positive, what's negative. We all have this polar, where if I was to put 2 things, and to some degree we need that. If I was to say, okay, what's good for you, then you'd no doubt point at the fruit salad over the box of Maltesers. But actually, if you were to eat 5 portions of that fruit every single day, and what we were actually saying is bag of Maltesers, what's actually got the highest sugar content? What's actually going to long-term be of a worse health benefit for you or worse for your teeth? It's so perception. It is the perception that we have and the choices that we make. It's about making empowering choices. And I exercised and ate for punishment. I would only feel satisfied when my body hurt or ached. That was it. I was constantly hurting. I was either too full, I was either too hungry, or I ached because I'd work out so hard. And my cycles completely stopped in 2015. I had no periods. I was on and off. I'd have like one for 1 month, and then I go 3 or 4 months without. And that was for like years. And then 2015, nothing. And then 2016, me and my husband got in, oh God, we were engaged at 2015. And we were set to be getting married at 2017. And we were like, well, it might take a little while for us to get pregnant. And so we just started trying for a baby. And I actually knew quite early on there's something just wouldn't be right. How can you get pregnant if you're not ovulating, if you're not, I didn't know. So I went and saw a fertility specialist, and they said the words, you're going to struggle to get pregnant with your body how it is. Weight wise, they deemed as good. I didn't have to gain or lose any for it to be okay. But I wasn't ovulating, and that was due to the way that I treated my body and the beliefs that I held around my body. I wasn't worthy. How could I teach another human? Again, all unconscious. How could I teach and guide another human if I couldn't teach and guide myself? And I didn't feel confident being intimate with my husband, which kind of doesn't really help on the whole baby making front. But I didn't. I would always be worried about what I looked like, the angles. You can use your imagination on that one. It would just always be on my mind. I wasn't a complete lights out girl, but as near as. Just wasn't confident. Yet up on stage, everyone was like, wow, your body looks amazing. Wow, your body. Oh my God, that means that if I've lost this weight, I'm going to gain it. Oh my God, I'm not enough. I must eat more. Blah, 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 blah. And luckily, he saw through all of that. He saw through, and it was that inner beauty, and it was that everything else that goes with it. And I now see that. But at the time, no, not comfortable at all. And I felt a deep shame and guilt, like I was the only person with such unhealthy and embarrassing habits. I really did. I used to see everyone else go out to a restaurant and they'd be like, oh, what do I want? Oh, I'm going to go for the pizza. I'm going to get a side salad. Or I'm going to go for the chicken wrap with sweet potato fries. And I'd be like, oh, the anxiety. If I order a salad, are they going to think that I'm dieting? If I order a pizza, are they going to think I'm fat? What if I eat all the pizza in front of them and they only eat half the pizza? What if? It was like I was the only human with these thoughts. And since doing the job that I do, no. Like if you're listening to this now, maybe resonating with one or two, you're definitely not on your own. So being a teenager, and yes, absolutely. So 2019, this was when I had bought all the diet books, and I had obviously I was working, supporting other people through this, and I never advertised. I would do success mindset. I would do anxiety was a big one for myself because I struggled with that and I overcame that. But I never said I can help people with their health and weight management. I can help people to release this because it's the one thing I was struggling with myself. Same with fertility. So I knew I had to shake things up. I knew from a professional point of view that it doesn't start from the outside. So why would this be different for me? So I committed to focusing on how I felt energetically and physically. And I don't mean how far I can run on a treadmill. I meant energetically, vibrationally, how I felt connected wise energetically. I threw all my diet pills, because I was literally like the raspberry leaf, the grenades I used to take to go to the gym that gave me palpitations. I ended up on going to the doctors with that. And they were like, are you taking anything? Books, creams, that book cream, the cellulite stuff doesn't work. And meal replacements in the bin. This was for me. This is my journey. Remember, take this on as your own. Like take from it what resonates with you. And I focused on something that none of the diet books share. And this is forgiveness. Forgiveness to myself, forgiveness for my conditioning, my upbringing, my, if you don't eat this, the starving children in Africa conditioning, the you're not going to eat all of that on your plate. I once got asked when I was working in a hotel as a dancer, when we had access to all the food in a buffet. And this was when I was really slim as well. And as I walked, this guy in front of everyone in the, like when you go all inclusive, we used to get to eat in those. It was wonderful. but also very traumatic every single day for me at the time. And this guy went straight, he knew I was a dancer because he'd seen us in the shows previous. And he was like, you're not eating that, are you? You're not going to eat all that. And it was through healing work that was still with me like 10 years later, because it embedded the shame, it embedded my thoughts. So if you've ever had anything like that said to you, forgiveness, compassion for yourself and others. You're on this journey. You're not meant to be 10 chapters ahead. You are on this journey. You're here tonight for a reason. Fulfillment, fun, and health. And I invested in my own healing. I seeked out someone to do what I do on me. You can't always do these things yourself. You can't see your own blind spots. I went through NLP, hypnotherapy, some timeline therapy, and worked with my own blueprints, actually. I strengthened my connection with my higher self and intuition. I began to eat more mindfully and intuitively guide. If I want a glass of wine on a Tuesday evening, there was no rules. The rule book went out of the window because the rule book was basically a rule book. It was full of, pardon my French, but bullshit rules. It was the rules and conditionings that I got brought up with, that I had formed as my own, that I took on. It wasn't mine, so I threw away this rule book. I stopped exercising and eating for punishment. I got my cycles back and had more confidence and energy than ever before. Even when I used to get up on stage in front of thousands of people, like so much more confident, like real confidence now. And I fell pregnant. So if you do know me well, then you'll know these boys. If you don't, follow us on Instagram and you will be able to watch them on a daily basis grow up. But they're now 2. My twin sons, Blake and Carter. We went from trying naturally for nearly 6 years to having the boys. And I've been my ideal weight for close to 2 years. And I've never felt more freedom. That your body can regulate. I used to write down this weight in all of my goals, in my journals. And I don't mind sharing it, not that it matters, but it used to be the certain weight. And I could never get there and maintain it. I'd see it on the scales. And then within 2 days, it'd be a flash and it'd be a thing of the past. I'd get there and then it was then the control thing, feeling out of control. Whereas now I've been the same weight. I'm actually lighter now after having the boys, because that rule book, I don't want to pass on to the boys. I don't want to pass on to the next generation and beyond. So my body is regulated. I can kind of, to some degree, eat what I want. If I was to suddenly go on a rampage and start having takeaways every night, of course not. If I choose intuitively what I want to have and it feels good, the body digests it well because it's happy, it's healthy, it's working to its full capacity. And this is available for you. So why is it relevant? I've just kind of summed that up, because it's your unconscious beliefs and habits that equal your health, the inner harmony and happiness. And once you do the inner work and you master that conditioning, I'm going to talk shortly about being a chain breaker. I know if some of you do coaching yourself or you work with before, you'll no doubt have heard this term. And it doesn't have to be hard work. When we're living to other people's rule book, we'll stick with that. That's hard work because it's not your own. And that intuitive part of you, your higher self, knows it doesn't have to be this way. There is a path of least resistance. There is another way than what you're currently doing if it feels hard work, if it feels unfulfilling, if it feels icky. You'll have your own word for this. For me, it was like traumatic. Every day, that's all my brain would think about is, what am I going to eat? What am I going to not eat? And my promise to you is learning these next really simple sort of 3 steps I'm going to share with you. You will have some more awareness to begin to transform your relationship with your body image, and of course, your health, and start to take you from, this is my word, self-loathing to self-loving. You might not be at that stage where I was at with that self-loathing. I couldn't look in the mirror and see like what I see. So far from it. No worries at all, Chris. I'll catch you very soon. So the keys to inner harmony and health are changing your conscious coding. and also healing the mind below the surface. So that conscious coding is the stories that you tell yourself. It's the habits that you have that you recognize, but go, it's just my identity. And below the surface, that unconscious mind. This is why you can pay for a PT. And again, I'm speaking from experience and speaking from clients. You can pay for a PT. You can pay £1,000 for health programs. You can use all the diet pills in the world. But if you don't change your conditioning, if you don't change your unconscious beliefs and that guide, you're going to find a way back to it. And it tends to be through self-sabotage that then imprints more, I'm not enough, I'm rubbish, I can't do it. You lose self-belief. So we're going to have a look now at the 3 things that I like to call the F it effect. And number 1 is that forgiveness. And when it comes to forgiveness, you can start to explore this now. We can go really, really deep with this stuff, which is what I'll be talking a little bit more about on the program. But forgiveness to yourself, forgiveness to anyone who's ever harmed you, shamed you, blamed you. And this isn't just like I gave the example of you're not going to eat that in front of the whole dinner hall. This might be something from a kid where you might have had a funny nickname that even now the family laugh and lovingly joke about. They never in a million years would have maliciously said anything. Between you and I I have joked about this to my mum before. If you've ever been on my webinars, you know my mum comes up a lot. But she once said to me, when I was sat next to her and she grabbed my legs, and again, this was said with so much love, she never in a million years, she'd be traumatized if she knew that this hurt me. And I have healed from this because I've done the work. She grabbed me and she went, you're sturdy, aren't you? You use the word sturdy, nice and sturdy, aren't you? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you won't blow over in a hurricane. What my mum meant by that, now I can step out of that. Now I'm in a place where I can change my perception and see things for what it is. That's actually my mum's conditioning. She was brought up in the 70s where she used to wrap cling film around her to go on a run. It was all about being skinny, the tiny little Barbie dolls. We know it, don't we? So my body image is different to the perception that she believes is a woman's, and that's all unconscious conditioning. So when she said you won't blow over in a hurricane, at the time when I was in a deep place of trauma and very unhealed, that reaffirmed, well, here we go. Like, yep, you're right. I'm chunky. Well, it used to be my thing. I used to always say I've got cankles, I've got thick thighs. Now I'm like, I've got mermaid thighs. I've never had a thigh gap in my life, no matter what size I was. My legs meet at the top like a mermaid's do. Any of the mermaids in the house? And a part of the healing journey for me was reflecting back on things like that and actually seeing that. That was her conditioning. That's her perception. That does not mean anything about my actual body. It's a story. And of course, this is doing the unconscious work as well. But I want you to start to think, have you ever heard anything, whether that's yourself or somebody else, but forgiveness and handing over any shame, blame, guilt, sadness, hurt, fear that you hold on about yourself, about your relationship with food or your body. And I know for a lot of women in particular that I work with on this, they go, God, well, I've spoke about diets for the last 20 years in front of my children. I've screwed them. They're going to have to go through this program. And not necessarily. They might be here to be a chain breaker. They might already know this. They might understand that on a deeper level. They may have to. It may be a part of that hereditary process like I had to do. But forgiveness and understanding, when we can really open our awareness to that. Mermaid thighs, I've got them too. Yes. And if you have got a thigh gap, absolutely rock it. There is no right or wrong with how your legs are. Your legs are here to guide you through life and be a part of your journey. So forgiveness, I want you to start to reflect on that. Is there a story that comes to mind? I remember being younger, and this was in front of all the kids at school. And one of my really good gay friends, I had a skirt on, and he looked at my legs and he went, "Why have you got like chicken skin on your legs?" And everyone in the hall just went, and we were sat up on the steps, onto like the main hall bit on the stage. And I was like sat almost on the stage eating my dinner. And it was as if, I'd probably say about 10 people looked. It felt like the whole of Macclesfield heard and looked. And I didn't wear a skirt for I don't know how long. I covered up trousers. I started wearing tights. I wore tights until about, God, all honesty, 2016, 2017. Literally wore tights from school, whether that was skin colored or black tights. Little did I know that is just my skin pigmentation. I'm quite a pale person. And when I started shaving, I don't know if anyone else, it's like tiny little dots, and he called it chicken skin. And I've healed, and it feels so good to be able to share that story with you, and just nothing triggers. It's okay. That was a question that he had. He didn't mean to be so abrupt. If he did, shame on him. It's nothing to do with me. I forgive him. And it's so freeing. And anything that my body held on to, toxins were released. It completely alters your vibration when you forgive. Nikki, fellow mermaid. Yes, we are. Another one of the effect, fulfillment. Now, in the program that I'm going to be talking about soon, yes, we work on the typical things, the binge eating, our relationship with food, body dysmorphia, that kind of thing. But another area of what we look at is actually being fulfilled in your life. Where is it that maybe, and if you've worked with me, you've no doubt done a wheel of life, or if you've ever worked with a coach, a wheel of life is like a bird's eye view of where you are. And if there is an area of your life where you're unfulfilled, when you start to honor and respect and love yourself, despite your weight, despite your size, despite your thighs, you free yourself up in different areas of your life. It is a domino effect, huge domino effect. I'm working with a lady at the moment who came to me for a career change. And guess what? She's eating healthier. She's drinking more water. She's exercising more. She's up at 8:30 on a morning, Saturdays. And she actually messaged me being like moaning about it. She's like, I used to have a lie until 11 o'clock because I felt like I had nothing to get up for. And now I'm up naturally at 8:30. I don't even know why, but I just have this energy. It was like this. Who am I feeling? That was about career, but the body's energy shifts. So what areas of your life are you fulfilled? And are there any areas of your life where you're unfulfilled? Are you seeking validation? Are you seeking that serotonin fix? Are you seeking the overeating to fill a void? So much in this word fulfillment. And then we have freedom. And this image, I feel like I want it tattooing on me. It's so powerful. And I spoke about up at the beginning. I talk about this a lot, but being a chain breaker. So your great grandparents were no doubt in wars. They were no doubt rations. They were no doubt like wherever they were in their life. They didn't have the abundance that we have at our fingertips, for many people anyway. And that conditioning to eat everything that's on your plate. If you earn, back in the day, at one point it would have been £5.50 or $5, and that had to feed your family. So you have to eat everything. I'm just using that one as an example, that gets passed on. Have you ever heard of that story? It's a really funny one, of the meatloaf. So there was a woman who got married, and it was a tradition. Every year she would, at a certain time of year, she would cook her family this meatloaf dinner. And whilst preparing it, her husband came over, had a little nosy, and she cut the end of one side of the meatloaf off, and she cut the other side of the meatloaf off, and she put it in the oven. And he went, well, what are you doing with those bits? And she went, oh no, I don't use them for anything. He went, well, why did you cut it off? And she went, do you know what? I don't actually know. It's just something I've always done. I'll have to ask my mum. I remember my mum doing it. Rings her mum. Mum, I'm doing the meatloaf dinner. I just cut the ends off, and hubby is asking me why I cut the end. I don't actually know. Why do you do that? I need to know now. And she went, oh my gosh, I actually don't know. I just cut the end off one end and cut the end off the other, and you put it in the oven. I'm going to have to ask my mum. So she spoke to her mum, her elderly mum. And she went, oh, darling, we had to cut the ends off to fit it in the tiny micro oven that we had. The meatloaf never fit back in our day. And I remember hearing that, and it gives me goosebumps that even that kind of thing, there was no rhyme or reason. It wasn't for anything other than what suited them back in that era to fit in those tiny, tiny little micro ovens. Yeah, she saw it happen, so she just naturally did it. Her daughter saw it, so she naturally did it, and so on. And had her husband not have recognized and broke that chain and questioned and altered her perception, that would have carried on. And how many years? And that's a metaphor for life. I got taught from a kid not to eat white bread because it's basically cake. That was something I remember hearing till this day. I can hear it in my ears. It's basically cake, a little less sugar. So what did I never, ever dare to touch? White bread. And if I did, the guilt. If I ever went to a party and there was only white bread sandwiches, basically eating cake. I got basically eating cake. I even told my husband this. I used to refuse to buy white bread. Whereas that is just conditioning. And the moment you begin to stop and go, hang on, how much of what I'm doing is a chain reaction that's just been passed on through the generations. I don't know about anyone else, but I once tried to put my dinner in an envelope. I was very young. I must have been about 6. Starving children in Africa. Sit there and eat your dinner. It was piled high. I cried. That was my mum's conditioning. Her mum used to cook a dinner because she didn't work. My nana didn't used to have to work. And her role, she called, was she cooked this healthy dinner every night. My mum worked numerous jobs and believed as a mum she had to put this big dinner on the table every day. I don't know how she did it. Genuinely don't know how she did it. I do not cook fresh every night for my boys. Don't know how she does it. And that would stress her out. That would keep her up late at night, worrying about how she's going to. And then that imprinted on me that all that hard work that went into it and the money that it cost to do a full, almost like a Sunday dinner without all the fried stuff. And I put this food into an envelope and I was like, please send it to the children. It's the only way I could believe that I'd be worthy to leave the table, and it wasn't fair. So there was a guilt. My mum laughed. It was like, oh no, just sit down, just eat as much as you can. That was my belief. And now when the boys are full, my mum's like, we're not saying that. And now I have to stand up. I'm standing up for the boys. And I say more, and I've explained this to her, and she actually really gets this now. She'll still say it because it's complete habitual, because she's not done the healing work, so she can consciously know it. And now I'm like, no, guys, when you're full, it might not mean that you're going to have a ton of snacks in half an hour if you're hungry again. But when you're full, honor the full. So this is about freedom, freeing yourself. And Karen, I love that. Hurt people, and free people, free people. I don't know why this is. I think that this might actually be a little sign from the universe around a tattoo, because I've really been looking recently at different tattoos. And there was something that was along the lines of the meaning for me of hurt people, and free people, free people. And I just said about this. I will, of course, share if one books in for a tattoo. So I want you to ask this now. So stepping more into this thing around you. If you could achieve one health goal in 2022, what would it be? This doesn't have to be weight loss. If it is, no shame around that. Own it. But this might be an energy to have more energy, to sleep better. So many people suffer with insomnia, more so after lockdown now. It's something I'm doing a lot of work with a lot of people with. But what would your health goal be? Is it to be able to, like me, go to a party and if you want to eat 3 chicken drumsticks because you like them and don't give a shit about who's watching, then that's a pretty good goal. Feels good. It's freeing. But what would your goal be? Of course, please do share if you are happy to in the comments. Love it. My daughter used to eat half a biscuit and I'd be so proud, but didn't say anything to her. Yeah. So, and then I want you to think, what's stopping you, especially if this is a goal that you've had before. I'm just going to let you ponder on this for a moment. What's stopping you? Now, for many people, it's well, by the time I get home from work, the gym's closed, or by the time I get home from work, the kids need me, or I just can't run. I'm just not a runner. I've heard that many times. I used to say that. Or my body condition is I can't do this, or I've tried losing weight before and I can't, or it's just not. I want you to really think, is this a conditioned belief? Are you stopping you? Is the chains stopping you? And if so, what will happen if nothing changes? In a year's time, if you continue on as you are, and I'm going to say there'll no doubt be people in here that like, do you know what? I really needed this tonight. And this will be enough. This will be enough. I just needed this tonight. And then there'll no doubt be some of you that's like, I needed this tonight. And I know it's deeper. You know that you've tried what you may consider to be everything. I know we all use that term, don't we? I've tried everything. What will change for you, or what won't change? Kelly, to have energy and to be fitter, to keep up with Elliot. Yeah, our boys are nearly the same age, aren't they? I hear you on that one. Absolutely. I ate something, a really nourishing tea before this tonight. I will have something else again later. And that was a really conscious choice of, I'm going to need brain fuel. The boys have had chicken pox for the last 2 weeks. One got it the day it pretty much cleared. The next one got it. He's got it really, really bad. So looking after myself and being present with myself, healing and loving. So I'm not binge eating on crap and sugar to stay awake and energy drinks. So what will happen if nothing changes? And this is where I want you to either take a screenshot, or we're going to do this now. We're going to be running till about 10 past. We did start at just gone 5 past. So I always say it'll be about a good hour. You've no doubt in the past tried something around your health before, and maybe what they call it, fell off the wagon or failed, or it didn't work out for you. Basically, you were in a habitual cycle. You were running on autopilot. It wasn't your fault. And I want you to really take, if there's anything that you take away from this tonight, it's you can forgive yourself. You can release that guilt. That in itself is so powerful. So, so powerful. But if you have been there before, when you have gone, that's it, it's Monday, and then you've fallen off, like your belief system, that belief in yourself can start to dwindle. So I want you to start to think around that goal. 3 reasons why you want to achieve your goal. You can quickly write this down now. It's a really powerful exercise for a quick supercharge of your belief system. 3 reasons why you want to achieve your goal. I'm feeling called to add something in here, so I'm just going to go with it. It was very much from my left, so I'm trusting. I want you to also write down, so alongside the 3 reasons why you want to achieve your goal, 3 things that you have achieved. 3 things in the past have you put your mind to and achieved? Have you overcome? Was there that one time when you were like, do you know what? I'm going to quit smoking. You did. Was there a time when you were like, holy crap, I'm addicted to Coke. No, not cocaine. And that's a different story. But I'm addicted to Diet Coke or Coca-Cola. The amount of men and women that right now in this world are physically addicted to fizzy drinks, Coca-Cola and Pepsi being the main culprit. You would blow your mind. But what 3 things have you overcome? I want you to write those down. This is showing your mind evidence. This massively supports your belief system. Oh, Miriam, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. Food for thought. Yes, I think that is going to be like the saying for this one. 4 ways it could impact other people's lives. This is going back to your goal. List 5 ways it will positively impact your life if you were to achieve your goal. And then 6 reasons why it's a non-negotiable. So you could do this now, or I'm actually going to kind of recommend that you take a screenshot and that you come back to it, because you don't want to rush this. This can really, really begin to shift things for you. So along with the effort effect, with the forgiveness, fulfillment, and that freedom, really showing and evidencing to yourself that what's happened in the past, it doesn't have to continue moving forward. And like I did say up at the beginning, we do have a program and it starts on Monday. So of course, like I said, if this felt like that's what you needed, fantastic. If you have that feeling within you that there could be something deeper, I am going to recommend that you stay with us. And there's also a chance for you to earn some money. So I'm going to kind of, love to shop vouchers. I'm going to sort of share that with you as well. So if you do like a freebie or love to shop, I just think it's so tied into, I've never actually done that before as part of the program. But anyway, the upcoming hypnotherapy program, we're going to be getting down, and I've called it simplicity, because naturally when you do heal, when you do focus on your health, in many different ways, we slim. And I don't just mean physically, I mean emotionally, we feel lighter. And it's called Simplicity and Conscious Health Program. The program is for you if, I want you to have a little read over these, but you turn to food for comfort. You crave that feeling of being full, like I was saying before, and you can't seem to leave food on your plate. Whether you resonate with body dysmorphia or what you see in the mirror, you just don't like no matter what. You have an unhealthy relationship or obsess over your weight or size or the scales, your confidence is affected by your body image. You're a yo-yo dieter, as it's sort of known as, and you often look back. This is something I hear so often. I just want to be the size I was before having kids. I just want to feel how I did on my wedding day. And all that energy in the past, we want to convert it to the future. You want to be able to enjoy your food and drink guilt-free. And you're ready to heal unhealthy habits and finally love the body that you're in, like truly, wholly, deeply. So why hypnotherapy? This was I'm going to use the word like nut breaker. It was the thing that cracked it open for myself. And obviously I've trained in hypnotherapy. So I do hypnotherapy privately on a one-to-one basis. And with this, we bypass the conscious mind. With hypnotherapy, you go into a very light trance state. It's very, very relaxing. It's actually very healing for your body to be in that state, because the brain waves that we go from beta to alpha. And with hypnotherapy, in a nutshell, we bypass something called the critical faculty. That critical faculty is the part of your brain that stores all of your beliefs, all of your experiences, all of the things that it believes you can and can't do, what's possible for you, what isn't. If I would say to you, okay, so your goal is you want to feel more confident and you'd like to lose a stone by the end of summer, whenever that is for you. Let's just use that as an example. Your brain might say, yeah, well, you tried this last year. That's your critical faculty. Yeah, well, who said that that would work for you? Works for everyone else. You can't lose weight. You're perimenopausal or you're menopausal. Can't lose weight. You read that thing in the Hello magazine where it's impossible to lose weight once you're on your menopause. So that part of your brain, that's the critical faculty. And I'm saying these things in complete jest because it isn't true. A lot of it is our belief system. Of course, hormones. I'm not even going to go into that right now. Sorry, guys, I've got a right little frog in my throat. But when we bypass that and go down to the unconscious mind, we actually begin to rewire. It's imagine a seed bed underneath the surface. You can't just hold a seed above or dangle a seed and expect new roots to grow. We've got to plant the seed. So that is what hypnotherapy does. Clients' results. Have a little read of this just whilst I drink some more water and take a big deep breath. These are just some of the ones that have recently come in that I just went from the top of my head. And they might not seem monumental, but they are life-changing for some people. One of them started cooking healthier meals. She's a single mum to a 4-year-old, 4 or 5. And she found herself feeding him oven food, feeding herself God knows what at 10, 11 o'clock at night, eating lots of processed food. Now it's completely unconscious, but she's really steering towards the veggie vegan. She's cooking healthy meals from scratch. She's getting her son involved. And she actually used the word, I don't feel like I need to fill a void anymore on an evening. So you can see there, and the pregnancy, this is a really sort of common one with hormones regulating, body systems coming back into place. So the Simplicity and Conscious Health Program, it starts a week today, next Monday. I'm so excited. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's Bank Holiday Monday, don't worry. And I'm going to explain why. But basically, you haven't got to show up at a certain place. This is the beauty of my blueprinting and hypnotherapy programs. You actually can do this either by dedicating some time throughout the day, be about 30 to 35 minutes per day, or you can fall asleep listening to it. This is the beauty of hypnotherapy. This was one of the reasons, I'll be totally honest, why I was like, I want hypnotherapy myself for this, because I have quite a full life with the boys, business, travel, family, all sorts. I was like, okay, yeah, I want something that's one of the quicker things, and hypnotherapy is one of those. So where? All online, all pre-recorded. So over the 4 weeks, you will get 8 hypnotherapy recordings sent to you in a specific order. So you get 2 per week. I will be sending those to you. There might be some that you're like, I'm not really a binge eater. I don't really have a problem with sugar. Don't really struggle with confidence, or I'm still going to recommend that you listen to it or that you fall asleep to it, because all encompassing, this is where the program sort of needs to go. Plus a live Q&A weekly as well with myself. That's within a private Facebook group. So what's included, as I just shared there, who is it for? Freaking anyone, no matter the age, no matter where you are in your life. It's your commitment. It's if you're ready, if you feel that feeling in your tummy now and it feels exciting, follow that. You'll know. I always say this to people when they're like, I'm going to work with you. And I'm like, is it a whole body hell yes? If they can say yes, I'm like, we're ready. And for how long? It's a 4-week program, but you get lifetime access to it, like you do with all my programs. So there is an early bird bonus. So if you join tonight before midnight, you'll get access to a powerful Ho'oponopono mantra meditation. It's a really beautiful form of healing, actually resides from Hawaii. And it's a really specific one for forgiveness and self-love. So that is just like a little Brucey bonus. And for those of you that have already signed up to this, I think there's 10. Yes. Just looking up at the names. If you're, and a few of you are on as well, say, hello, this is already yours. So don't worry. You're like early birds. So yes, the investment, and this is the investment in yourself for a pay in full, £222. When this launches, like I always run my programs for the first time at a half price. It's great to get your feedback. It's something that I just like to do. It's something that I've always done. You guys will know this. And then once it launches fully, it will be the £444. The difference being is all of it will be available through my website. So there's no touch point. There's no live Q&As even at that point. There are payment plans available, which I know lots of you will be happy about. So 3-month payment plan, £74 per month, or 6-month payment plan, just £37 per month. So that's all set up. You can just click a little button for that. And the link, let me actually, I've been so organized. This is the first time I can actually do this. Hang on. Oh, she says, I need to go back. I can't go back. Okay, let me just see then if I can. Yes, there's the form. So it's a jot form. You can sign up through that. And I will also say what it said at the bottom of the previous slide is if you can't click the link or you want the information, but on Facebook or anything or email, just drop me a heart emoji and I will send it you straight over. This is something that I've never done before. And I feel so called to do it. And I think it's almost from my inner child is really excited about this program because it's such a revelation to be able to say, not only as a professional, here's what works, I'm taking you through a hypnotherapy program, but actually as someone who's done it themselves, I can hold your hand and get so freaking excited with you. It feels, I can't even explain it. It's a really, really special program to me, this one. So I'm actually doing a referral scheme. So if you were to refer a friend to the Simplicity and Conscious Health, I can share little images if you want to put them on your social media or anything and the link. Then you'll receive a £50 Love to Shop gift card. I know. I actually shared with someone else who I was sharing it with before, and she got so excited. You no doubt know Love to Shop. This could be for something. I'm going to urge you to spend this on yourself. And really, if you refer 4 friends, you've like got your program paid for. So yeah, like I just thought that this would be a really nice pass it forward and for yourself or somebody else. I will say you have to be a part of the program really to sort of be in on this, more so that you're on the journey as well. You can kind of do it together. I do get a lot of people joining up with their friends to different programs. So I thought this is a nice give back. Everyone loves to refer. And as soon as if they're on a 6-month payment plan, you'll receive it at the end of the 6 months once it's all paid. If they're a pay in full or a 3 months, then you'll of course receive it then. Q&A. So just as a little recap, you've got the link there. You can drop me a message. And I want to know if you've got any questions. We're bang on time. I'm so happy. I want to know if you've got any questions, whether this can be to do with anything, your relationship with food, yourself, self-love, the mind, or it might just be that you enjoyed it. You know, obviously just say a little goodbye or a thank you, but please don't hold back if you do have a question. You can actually message me privately on here. I obviously wouldn't read your name, but I can share it. So let me know if you've got any questions about the program as well. Do let me know. Looking forward to it. Yay, I'm so excited for it. I'll give a few minutes. Thank you so much. Exactly what I needed to make the changes. Oh, and I'm so excited as well for you, Nick, being a part of the program. It's been good. I need to stop gaining weight with every year. Okay, this is a good actualization. Oh, you are so welcome. Okay, so we've had a direct message. I struggle with my hormones. Will this still help me? Absolutely. When it comes to hormones, so much of our body's chemicals, let's take cortisol, adrenaline, serotonin, dopamine, all of these, depending on how we are thinking, feeling, reacting, and responding to things that are going on internally or externally, directly impacts not only our physiology, how our body moves, how it feels, the aches, the pains, the energy, but on that chemistry level, massively can correlate with hormones. So I do work with a lot of women that, like myself, whether they were getting pregnant or all the way through to perimenopausal, menopausal, or postmenopausal, hormones around time of the month, endometriosis. There's lots of a huge variety. And yeah, hypnotherapy is a really, really powerful one for this. Thank you. This has triggered some realization. Sarah, I'm so happy to hear this. Good to hear. So I'm hoping that that's helped to answer your questions. And of course, keep asking. I'm more than happy to sort of keep on here with you. And just as that little recap, if you are considering doing it, click the link or send me a heart. I can see your messages coming through. Send me a heart. And then I will send you the link over. It's got all the information on it. I'll no doubt be sharing it over the next week. And then we'll be starting next Monday, and it will be up to you when you listen to it. Whether that is like me, you'll fall asleep. And something that I will share is if you do share a bed with somebody else, this is a question that I often get asked, but actually hasn't come up. If you do share a bed with somebody else, I would say ask for their permission. If you don't want to listen to it, you can either listen to it through headphones, you can listen to it out loud. But I will say I've never had someone say, my partner won't let me listen to it. If anything, they benefit from it. And I can't lie, the freaky thing that I hear a lot, and it's so funny, is people's partners saying, are we going to bed with Carol Ann tonight? Is Carol Ann coming to bed with us tonight? And when people say it, it still makes me like shocked. But they, of course, mean my numerous meditations, blueprinting, and hypnotherapy audios. I think my husband would have a heart attack. Headphones are great. Really quick one, I'll share this as well with anyone who wants the details, is you can get, and I use this for years, but I can't now because I have to listen out for the baby monitor, but you can get headbands from Amazon, and they're really soft and they've got tiny built-in headphones, and it's Bluetooth. So no wires, no getting caught up, or AirPod, what they called, earbuds. I find them quite uncomfortable. But yeah, and let's be honest, gaining more confidence and looking after your health is a Brucey bonus for anyone who's in the room. So Elliot's dream. I've probably compared my body to others since I was about 7, now 70. So it's a lot to unpick. Do you know what? I would say it's a lot to unpick if you were to do it on a conscious level. But when you do the unconscious hypnotherapy work, it targets. So it isn't necessarily about unpicking and removing. This is why I love hypnotherapy. Timeline therapy, a little bit different. We go back to quite specific events. With hypnotherapy, we dive in and then we plant new seeds. We plant new beliefs. We plant new ways of thinking. We imprint new conditioning. We imprint. So this is why, like on the testimonial that I shared, one lady said, I've lost a stone. She actually, I messaged her before and said, oh, I'm sharing and I sent her a little video of it. And she went, I've lost more since then. She said, and I've not consciously tried to. I just feel and think differently. I'm like, yes. And we only did one hypnotherapy session around weight. So it's incredibly powerful. Dawn, I will message you after because I know you've just sent a little heart. So yes, let me know if you've got any questions. And also, with this being quite a specific topic and quite a personal topic, like I've been really open tonight. Rewind even a year ago, I couldn't have done this. I didn't do it. Like where my programs come are from quite a personal journey. I work a lot connected now. So yeah, like if you need to private message me any questions, any concerns, then absolutely do so. You haven't got to share it here. But I'm going to stop the recording now.